Welcome to Manifest, hosted by international evangelist, teacher, and author Perry Stone. Enjoy unique insight into prophetic and practical truth. It's time to feast on fresh manna, so get ready to be blessed and encouraged. And now, here is your host and teacher, Perry Stone.
From time to time on the Manifest telecast, we will have a guest on. And usually when we're teaching from Israel, I do most of the teaching, sometimes with or without our tour group. But today, Robert Vandermotten, who is a friend of mine that goes back what year? All the way back in California to the 80s?
1988, I think.
88, that's about right. And I knew you really before then.
Yeah.
And works with Noseworthy Travel. Of course, he's over Noseworthy Travel. But the reason I have him on is he is a great student of the Word. He's a great revelator of very deep things of God. One of the things that we studied many years ago, and I know Dr. Peter Mikas also studied this, was Jerusalem being the center of the Garden of Eden.
Right.
And some of you know we wrote a book about that, and Robert's dealt with that. And so that's one of those teachings that was, you first hear it and you say, no, it can't be. Then you read the evidence,
Right.
and it's really there. Now, we're not going to talk about that today.
Right.
We are in Caesarea Philippi, where an idol god by the name of Pan was worshipped in the time of Christ. And this is where Christ came when he asked the disciples, who do men say that I am? So I said to Robert, we ought to call this program, Pan is Not I Am.
And he's not.
And he's not. Now, I want you to stay with Robert. I've asked him, he taught the group here a moment ago, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. People around the world have got to hear the revelation he has and some of the things about this area that will make it come alive. So the next time you read about Caesarea Philippi, you are not going to read it the same.
Right.
Now, Robert, just kind of look at the camera there, and they'll direct you which camera to go to when the time comes. But you go ahead and start, and I'll interject whenever it's necessary.
Anybody who's been here before, you have to ask yourself, why would you come to this place? Why would the Lord bring his disciples to this place? Because this is not an easy journey. You know, if you come all the way from the Galilee, you're about a 2-day walk from this place, and you're walking uphill, so it was a long trek. Why would the Lord bring his disciples to this place, to Caesarea Philippi, to ask the question that was asked in Matthew chapter 16? Now, the first thing that I wanted to do is to ask you a question when you're going to your Bibles back home, and I'm going to read some scriptures, and then I'm going to ask you the question. Fisherman in John chapter 1 verse 41 said, this is Andrew, he first found his own brother Simon and said to him, we have found the Messiah, which translated means Christ. Then in 4 verses later, Philip found Nathanael and said to him, we have found him of whom Moses and the law and the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, son of Joseph. The religious leaders in John chapter 1, verses 19 through 21, this is the testimony of John, when the Jews sent him to priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who are you? And he confessed and did not deny, but confessed, I am not the Christ. So religious leaders were asking the questions, and the crowds were asking the questions, are you the Messiah? So the question is,